mean, these brushes are great, but they're just too messy. I'm going to take you through my personal brush pack in Photoshop. How I use them, when I use them, and if brushes are important or not. I use brushes to get texture in my painting and also to create those little happy accidents that Bob Ross always used to talk about. So abstract brushes that can give you shapes that you might not have created with just a normal round brush. But that being said, you can't lean heavily on brushes. You should be able to paint the same thing just with the standard round Photoshop brush. I'm going to take you through the brushes I use in rotation, and you can also download my brushes from my website, www.markgrahamartist.com, and then go on shop, and then you can download the brushes for free. That's right. This is my most basic brush, the Chalk 60. This, well, let's stick the opacity up. So let's just grab a color. My favorite color, blue. And then, quite simple. It's good for just blocking in color, but then the outer edge is slightly textured. So where this is good also is if you lower the opacity right down and then the flow right down, and then we'll change the hue slightly, crank this up, you can slowly build up value. You can get a nice soft edge, and then this is just with the opacity and the flow turned right down. You can just build up, so let's sample this color, bring it down now. So this simulates kind of like dry brushing. So you've got a tiny bit of paint on your brush, kind of like when you're painting the Warhammer minis back in the day. Tiny little bit of paint, and then you're just gradually building up value, and then you get a nice soft edge. And it looks like it's sticking out the screen. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so next brush I use all the time is this one. This one is a bit of a textured brush, and it's got hue jitter on. So hue jitter, that's not a famous actor. So if you go color dynamics on the settings, hue jitter, and saturation and brightness jitter is a little bit on as well. So what that's going to do, every single brush stroke is going to give you that nice texture. You're going to have variation in the hue, which is the color, and then the brightness as well. So it's great for just getting that nice textured traditional look, which I love so much. You see that? Pretty cool, eh? So that's a good one. Get you a nice traditional look there. All right, next. Let's look at... Right, this one is great. I use it a lot. It's called Old Canvas. So this is just great for when you're first starting a painting and you want to get some noise and some texture on your canvas. So again, I did a video about this earlier. This is how I start most of my paintings. And if you zoom right in, it's got a really nice canvasy, rough texture to it. So that's a good one. Yeah, so if you set it to an overlay layer, you can add some texture to something you've already painted. So it's going to look pretty cool. Nice and textury. That's the painterly way that we like. All right, so let's show you another brush. New layer. Start again. Whoops. Start again. All right, so the next brush I would like to show you is this one. I love this one. This is just literally, it's like grabbing a paintbrush and just splodging it across the canvas. It's going to get you a nice, abstract, messy brush stroke. And this is great for doing rocks. It already looks like a rock, and it's perfect for doing that kind of rough, rocky looking texture. And if you apply it really lightly, you see that? you get these nice little, almost looks like a fingerprint, but it's great. Great for adding that nice textured rough look to stuff. So there's that one. What else do I use? Cloud brushes. So cloud brushes, self-explanatory. Let's turn this a nice sky blue. And then let's get a white. And then we've got instant clouds. This is what's known as a cheap brush, but it's not just for clouds. You can just use it just to get a nice soft edge going. And again, these kind of brushes are great for when you first start a painting and you want to just messy up that canvas like that. Just get some values going, just to get an idea started. Right, let's do another brush. I don't think there's many left that I use really. Right, and then you got these kind of brushes as well. I don't know how you'd explain this, like getting some paint and just flicking it onto the canvas. These are good for just at the end of a painting, just to add a little bit of creative flair to a painting. So pretty self-explanatory, like flicking paint onto a canvas. Pretty cool. All right, let's do this is a good one. Again, this is like a traditional style brush, like an oil painterly brush. So you've got two of them. You've got this one. It's got that hue and color dynamic jitter on. Pretty cool. Pretty self-explanatory. And then there's another one that's kind of like that. Where is it? There it is. And it just gives you that nice traditional look to your brush strokes. These are really fun. Again, like I said in the intro, like they're just great for I just sit and do this sometimes, and then suddenly I'm like, I've just seen something. I've got an idea. Like, they're just great for starting off ideas. And that's basically the brushes I use on rotation most of the time. And then there's also this one, which is it's just like the round brush, but it's got a nice tooth to it, a nice texture to it. So yeah, like I said, these are available. It's spelled available. Probably not. On my website, www.markgrahamartist.com. Then go to shop, and then you can download these brushes. Happy brushing. And then in another video, I'm going to go into all of this kind of stuff. When you got your smudge brush and also your mixer brush as well, where you can mix in different colors, like in a very traditional oil painterly way. Technology is great, guys, when used correctly. This is good fun. It's just like traditional, but without the mess. But I recommend always practice traditional too, as well as your digital stuff. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hope that was helpful. Whoops, I just bashed the camera. Shit on a dick. I'm Mark. I've been a professional sci-fi and fantasy artist for 8 years now, working in the gaming industry, mainly in the tabletop role-playing game industry, and I've done a lot of book covers, and what else have I done? Like card games and stuff like that. That's what people come to me for. And I've been drawing and painting since I was a wee lad, but didn't really take it seriously until maybe 10 years ago. That's me.